Here's something that'll make longtime Sega fans do a double take. The legendary ninja Joe Musashi has returned, and his voice carries decades of gaming history. Get ready, rolling start enthusiasts. The freshly launched Shinobi Art of Vengeance has ninja kicked its way onto contemporary gaming platforms, delivering what many consider a masterful revival of Sega's iconic stealth action franchise. This isn't just another nostalgic cash grab. It's a carefully crafted love letter to the series that helped define what ninja games could be. But here's where it gets interesting and slightly controversial. While this 2D action platformer adventure, co-created by Sega alongside the talented French development team at Lizardcube, puts our beloved protagonist Joe Musashi front and center, the character remains surprisingly tight-lipped throughout most of his journey. We're talking minimal dialogue here. Just the occasional grunt, battle cry, or sharp intake of breath during those death-defying acrobatic sequences. Now, you'd think that with such a limited voice acting requirement, Sega might have just grabbed the nearest intern from the coffee machine to record a few sound bites, right? Wrong. And this is the part most people miss. The gaming giant made a decision that's either pure genius or complete overkill, depending on how you look at it. They brought in none other than Takenobu Mitsuyoshi to breathe life into Joe Musashi's vocal cords. This revelation, first highlighted by the sharp-eyed Ashley Day from Games from the Black Hole, has sent ripples through the Sega community. For those scratching their heads right now, let me paint you the picture. Mitsuyoshi isn't just some random voice actor they found. This man is practically Sega royalty, having belted out the unforgettable tunes that made Daytona USA's soundtrack an absolute earworm for an entire generation of arcade enthusiasts. You know those songs that get stuck in your head for weeks after just one play session? Yeah, that's Mitsuyoshi's handiwork. But wait, there's more to this musical mastermind than just his singing chops. Mitsuyoshi has worn multiple creative hats throughout his career, serving as both composer and performer for an impressive roster of gaming classics. His musical fingerprints can be found all over Virtua Fighter 2's intense fighting atmosphere, Shenmue's emotionally rich soundscape, the adrenaline-pumping tracks of Sega Rally Championship, and even extending beyond Sega's borders to contribute to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and the recent Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Interestingly enough, Mitsuyoshi doesn't limit his vocal talents to just Joe Musashi in this latest adventure. He also lends his voice to the character Yamato, effectively doubling down on his contribution to the game's audio landscape. Here's what makes this casting choice so fascinating and potentially divisive. Is hiring such a legendary figure for minimal voice work a brilliant tribute to Sega's heritage, or is it an extravagant use of resources that could have been allocated elsewhere? Some might argue it's the perfect way to honor the franchise's roots, while others might question whether casual players will even notice or appreciate this insider nod to Sega's musical legacy. This decision raises some compelling questions about the gaming industry's approach to nostalgia and fan service. Are these kinds of deep-cut references what separate truly passionate developers from those just looking to capitalize on beloved franchises? Or do they represent an industry too caught up in its own history to move forward meaningfully? What's your take on this casting choice? Do you think bringing in Takenobu Mitsuyoshi for Joe Musashi's voice was a stroke of genius that honors Sega's incredible musical legacy? Or was it an unnecessary expense for such minimal dialogue? And more importantly, does knowing about this connection change how you experience the game? Drop your thoughts in the comments, whether you're team brilliant tribute or team complete overkill. I want to hear your perspective on how far developers should go to honor their gaming heritage.